I mean this when I say it. This North Carolina basketball team is in serious, and I mean serious danger, and nobody saw this coming. I didn't plan on making this video today, but here we are. We're talking about the North Carolina basketball team, and the main reason I'm making this video is because it is such an intriguing situation itself. And by the way, we're not doing no intro, none of that. We got one topic and one topic only we're going to go over. About, what was it? I believe it was 9, 10, no. It was about 9 days ago we made a video titled, North Carolina is falling apart because of a girl, question mark. And that was this entire mess drama. The rumors going on that Caleb Love and RJ Davis, they were having a love triangle, and we'll call it that. I'm not going to get into that too much. If you want to check on that video and see the details, you can do so. It's a really good one. We talked about some of the rumors going on. However, in that video, I stated I don't even think these rumors would be going on if North Carolina was 25-2. More times than not, when you see all these rumors flying in the air, it's when a team that's supposed to be really good, they're, like I said, falling apart. Why does this happen? Fairly simple. People try to find reasons as to why they're losing games. I'll give you guys a great example, and to put this into an even better perspective, remember the Green Bay Packers when they were winning all these games? There was never anything being said about, oh, Aaron Rodgers is a bad teammate. However, in the past couple of years, Green Bay Packers, they start losing a lot of games. Everybody now coming out with their story of, Aaron Rodgers, he's some selfish, self-centered guy, blah, 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 blah. You see what I'm saying? When you're winning, all your problems, they get swept under the rug because who cares? Winning takes care of everything. That's a saying that holds true. As long as you're winning games, nobody cares about the problems because you're winning. But, and I have a big but, y'all know how this goes. When you start losing a couple games here and there, that's when everybody gets to talking. If you didn't see that video and you don't want to check it out, long story short, somebody sparked up some allegations, rumors that RJ Davis's girl hooked up with Caleb Love. People were trying to say that, oh, Caleb Love and RJ Davis, they got beef and whatnot. You know how that goes. I'm not going to get into it too much. I already spoke about it. And oh yeah, by the way, on that video, Chase said, more basketball, please. I've been subscribed for years and got addicted to your channel after watching your What Happened To videos. Your football content is still awesome, but please more basketball, and I hear you. If you haven't caught on in things by now, every single year, once college football season ends, we slowly start to get into basketball mode. There's still going to be college football content, do not get it twisted, but now we're going to slowly start to incorporate some basketball videos. And I don't think you guys will mind because a lot of people want basketball videos. And hey, I'm a fan of the people. I love basketball and football. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. But anyways, that's besides the point. Let's lock in and let's get down to business as to why I'm making this video today. Today, as I was editing and working on a different video up in my office, I turned on the North Carolina in the North Carolina State game. And oh yeah, I need to clarify this for some people that don't know. To give you a better perspective, y'all know I'm an Alabama football fan, but I'm also an Alabama basketball fan. I'm Alabama everything. I'm not one of these people who go for Alabama football, Kentucky basketball, the New York Yankees, and the Warriors. There's actually people like that, believe it or not. I've been an Alabama basketball fan my entire life, so no, I'm not a North Carolina fan. Although I like talking about them, I'm not a Carolina fan, so I'm about as unbiased as it gets. There's 3 teams in the country at the college basketball level where I haven't missed a single game. Alabama, Kentucky, and North Carolina. I haven't missed a single game. I've sat down and watched every single one unless it was a blowout, then I turned to something else. Whoa. Hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, okay, I get the Alabama part. You're a Bama fan, but why are you watching Kentucky and North Carolina games? That's a great question, but I also have a great answer. For the one reason alone that North Carolina and Kentucky, they're so similar and so intriguing. Why are they intriguing? Because both of them at this current point in time, they're bubble teams, yet they're arguably 2 of the most talented teams in the country. That's what's so intriguing because they should be better than what they are. That's why I watch all the games because I'm like, okay, they're better than these other teams, so why are they losing to them? That's why I watch. The Kentucky one's not really mysterious to me because we know how that goes with John Calipari. He's got all these new freshmen coming in every single year, and it's hard to piece it together. However, the one team that mind boggles me to say the least is North Carolina. Why does North Carolina mind boggle me? Oh, maybe for the reason that they were ranked as the #1 team in the country and they're more than likely going to miss the NCAA tournament. Why does North Carolina mind boggle me? Oh, maybe due to the fact and reason that they dang near and almost won the national championship last year, and this same team that's coming back is only a couple games over 500. Why does North Carolina mind boggle me? Oh, maybe it's because this is nearly the exact same team as last year minus Brady Manick, and they're 16-11. Do you want me to go on, or do you get the point? Whenever I look at all these top teams in the country, whoever you want to point at in the top 25, or heck, the top 2 teams in the country, Alabama and Houston, North Carolina arguably has just as, if not more talent than those teams. Houston and Alabama may be deeper than North Carolina, but when it comes to a starting five, North Carolina, they have one of the best starting fives in the country. When I think of this North Carolina team heading into the season especially, I was like, man, they got the big four. They don't have the big three. They don't have the 5-5. I'm just going to call it the big four. Because saying Fantastic Four, that just sounds cheesy and corny. The big four, and if you're a Carolina fan, you know who I'm talking about. Leaky Black, he's a Hall of Fame menace to society, lockdown defender. You got Caleb Love, volume shooter. I don't need to say anything more about him. RJ Davis and Armando Bacot. Not just 3 out of 4, not just 2 out of 4, but all 4 of these guys, they're incredible. And I'm not just saying that to say that, I believe it. For example, I think if you put a RJ Davis or a Caleb Love on Tennessee, who doesn't have a high volume score, I think RJ Davis would average 20 games a game if he was playing for Tennessee. I think if you put Leaky Black on any team in the country, he's a lockdown defender and one of the best players. I solely believe that Armando Bacot is arguably one of the best centers in the nation. And last but not least, Caleb Love, he's Caleb Love. I'll talk about that in just a second. If you get it, you get it. Caleb Love is Caleb Love. That's the best explanation I can give you. The point I'm trying to get across here, if you haven't figured it out by now, is this team's insane. And they're led by one man who is controversial and got a lot of people talking, Hubert Davis. When I tell you this, you really need to think about this. Just sit back and think about it. North Carolina, 8 weeks ago, 2 months ago, was the number 1 team in the country. Fast forward in time to our current date, February 19th, 2023. 2 months later, they're now not even projected to make the NCAA tournament. That's how bad it's been. And earlier today, and it's the main reason that got me to make this video, they lost to NC State 77-69. First things first, I do want to give credit to NC State and their center. That guy played out of his mind. I know everybody's going to talk about Joyner, the point guard who had, I think it was like 29 points, but that center, DJ Burns, he was making some tough plays against Bacot. Here's a fun fact. I'm just taking a look at the box score right now for the first time. NC State only got 6 bench points and won the game. So when you look at it on paper at least, and really the eye test, it passes well, NC State's top 5, their starting 5, outplayed North Carolina's starting 5, which does blow my mind because North Carolina has one of the best starting 5s in the country. And while we're at it, let's take a look at the box score, because I think this box score right here, sometimes numbers and the box scores themselves, they can lie to you, but it tells the season perfectly, and it tells you how last season went as well. I said it last year, I'm going to say it again. North Carolina has 2 X factors, not 1, but 2. I remember saying it to you guys last year. Armando Bacot and Brady Manick were not X factors. You know what to expect. Same thing this year. Armando Bacot is not an X factor. Your other starter, Pete Nance, is not an X factor. And last but not least, Leaky Black is not an X factor. Why are Lance, Bacot, and Black not X factors? Because you know what to expect. Every single game, you can check mark Armando Bacot for 15 points and 15 rebounds. Every single game. Every single game, you can also check mark Pete Nance for about 8 or 10 points. He's not going to do nothing special. He's not going to win you a game. You know what you're getting. And last but not least, I saved the best for last, Leaky Black. He's a defensive Hall of Fame menace to society. He wears black Air Force Ones. Leaky Black at max is going to take 8 shots per game. He's not out there to score points. He's there to play defense, and he's going to give you probably around 7, 10, maybe 14 points a game. We know what we're getting out of those 2 guys, and you're not going to get anything off the bench whatsoever. Puff Johnson may give you 8, 10 points on a good day. But outside of that, that's it. North Carolina, they ride or die with their starting 5, which is okay. However, you know what we're narrowing this down to? Caleb Love, RJ Davis. It's the same thing as last year in the NCAA tournament. The only way North Carolina wins games is if not just Caleb Love has a good game, but also RJ Davis. They both got to have good games. For example, today, I thought Caleb Love had a decent or good game. He was 7 for 17, 4 for 8 on threes, 23 points. But RJ Davis was abysmal, 2 for 13. And oh, we know North Carolina, they lose by a couple of scores. If RJ Davis has a slightly better or average game, they win. It's not rocket science. Those are the 2 X factors. RJ Davis, Caleb Love. North Carolina will only go as far as they can take them. The one downside to this team this year is there is no Brady Manick to bail them out when Caleb Love or RJ Davis isn't having a good game. And I think a lot of people overlook just how much Brady Manick meant to that team last year. Whenever Love wasn't hitting shots, RJ Davis, Manick was the player to step up. This year, nobody steps up. Sure, Bacot's going to give you 15 or 20, but most of those are just garbage buckets, and occasionally he'll go one-on-one. Bacot's not a guy that can take over a game and go on a huge scoring run himself. But most of my people know this, so let's get down to the nitty and gritty. Why is North Carolina 16-11? Why is it not working this year and it worked last year? Got into a championship. Well, my answer to that is fairly simple. Remember last year, everybody's hyping up Hubert Davis. Oh man, he did a heck of a job. He made it to the championship. Well, I never understood where those people were coming from because he didn't do a heck of a job. Much respect to him, but he did nothing last year in that run to the championship game. He just told him to go one-on-one and isolate. And y'all are going to remember North Carolina barely made the NCAA tournament last year. This was a team that was dragging its way into the tournament and got hot at the right time. And a lot of people overlooked that. This team this year, this North Carolina team, looks identical to last year's team before the postseason. And I remember when that championship was over and Caleb Love, RJ Davis, all them guys they announced they're coming back, I knew it wasn't going to work out. Most people thought, man, they got that chemistry, they're coming back, they may even be better than last season, but that hasn't been the case. Why hasn't it been the case? Oh, because nobody outside of Leaky Black plays a lick of defense. I would love for a North Carolina fan to sit up here and look me dead in my eyes and say RJ Davis and Caleb Love care about defense, because they don't. You know what they care about? Isolation basketball and offense. They care about offense, but not defense. The only guy who tries his heart out on defense is Leaky Black. That's it. The problem for North Carolina is they're not playing winning basketball. They just want to go out there and score a bunch of points and have highlight plays. Now I know what you're sitting there saying, yo Matt, what is your definition of winning basketball? Well, my friend, I'm glad you asked that question because I have another great answer. It has a little something to do with, number one, caring on defense, but two, caring about the team and the game itself. It has a little something to do with diving after loose balls and giving it 100% effort. I don't see that out of this North Carolina team. I really don't. This is how RJ Davis and Caleb Love played the game. If Caleb Love is going out there, he's having a great shooting night, he's going to lock in on defense and give it 100%. But if he's in a slump, he's not shooting good, has a couple of turnovers, it affects other parts of his game. Same thing for RJ Davis, and it's not just these two guys. This happens for almost nearly every hooper out there. A lot of guys I played with, if they weren't doing good on offense, they weren't doing good on defense. And it's almost a universal thing. I mean, every hooper's experienced this. If you're having a good offensive game, you are going to lock in more on defense. But as a collegiate athlete, as old as these guys are, you can't let a bad offensive game affect your defensive game. Secondly, moving along here to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Hubert Davis. Where's the plays? The only play I've seen all year long is give the ball to RJ Davis or Caleb Love, give him a screen, or let him isolate. That's it. I mean, heck, I know a 12-year-old girl who can drop those same plays. There's no motion whatsoever. Pete Nance and Leaky Black, I think they stand in the corner for bare minimum 18 minutes a game. And you know why that pisses me off? Because I think Leaky Black could be a guy who averaged 15 points a game if you gave him the ball a little bit more. Leaky Black is an offensive threat, and I mean that, but North Carolina has programmed him to believe he's not good at offense, he's just there for defense. Leaky Black is what, about 6'6", 6'7"? If he's driving and does that little floater he does, he's going to score nearly every play. Whoa, wait a minute. I said Leaky Black's about 6'6", 6'7". I think he's around 6'8"-ish. I think they got him listed at 6'9", but I know at bare minimum he's 6'7", 6'8". But that's my point. Leaky Black, I think he needs to be more involved in the offense. Because it's easy to game plan against North Carolina. They're going to set pick and rolls, high pick and rolls. They're going to throw the ball to Baycott down the post, and that's it. If we can clamp up and lock up Caleb Love or RJ Davis, we're going to win the game. Simple. Check this out. Didn't even know this. North Carolina, they lost at NC State, right? They are now 0-9 in quad 1 games. Continuing along here, this tweet says, UNC is in serious danger of becoming the first ever preseason number 1 not to make the NCAA tourney. I agree, but check out this tweet because I agree with it as well. If North Carolina was not named North Carolina, they would not even be a discussion point nationally. Tar Heels are 0-9 against quad 1 teams. That spells 3 letters NIT. 0-9 in quad 1 games? Yeah, I think I speak for everybody when I say this. You don't deserve to be in the tournament. That's insane. You can't even win one of those? I don't even know what the people are called. I'm just going to call them the committee. The committee who decides who gets in and who doesn't. I already know they're going to try everything they can to sneak North Carolina in, which I don't have a problem with. As a fan myself, I want to see this Carolina get into the postseason because they're that exciting. And this may be crazy and controversial to say, but I believe it. If they sneak into this tournament, they could win it. I'm not saying they are going to win it, but I know they can. They have the talent. They just got to put it together. The problem is, as to where we stand today, they're 16-11. I mean this when I say it. This North Carolina basketball team is in serious, and I mean serious danger, and nobody saw this coming. You got, count on 4 games left. The next one against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's terrible, 10-17. You should win that one. But then you got Virginia at home, then Florida State. Florida State terrible, 18-20. And last but not least, it may come down to this one. You got Duke at home. The guy who does the brackets, I can't think of his name. I forgot it. He said North Carolina's got to win 4 out of 5 before this NC State game, which means, theoretically, They got to win out from here on just to get in. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they beat North Carolina and Florida State. But what about Virginia and Duke? Duke isn't all that, but we know it's going to be a close game. Virginia, that's a top 10 team. In my humble opinion, you at bare minimum, and this is the bare minimum, go 1-2 against Virginia and Duke. You got to at least split those games. And that's going to be hard to do. And that's also taking into account me thinking that you beat Notre Dame and Florida State. I mean, who knows? Those aren't easy wins, but Carolina should win them. But remember, Carolina also should be better than what they are. And I just noticed this. In the month of February, North Carolina, they're 1-5. Not exactly what you like to see. You would typically want to be playing your best basketball heading into March, but they're playing their worst. I don't have too much more to say, but I did want to speak on this. Let me know your thoughts down below. But roll a minute.